Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to Chatting with C. I am your host, Miss C. Hey, hey, hey! How you guys doing? Whoop, whoop! We still here, so it's a good thing. It's a good sign. As you guys know, I'm excited as usual, but more so, I'm feeling very purposeful today. I'm feeling very much in alignment. I'm feeling very much like I'm serving a purpose. And so I'm feeling very purposeful. I'm feeling like I have resolved things. I'm resolving things. I am being of use. I'm being of service. I'm helping others. I am being purposeful. Everything I do has a purpose. And so that's my space that I am in today. I hope that you are having a good day and that you have a word of the day that you're feeling today. And if not, I hope maybe you just found one to keep you going. If you watched my last video, awesome. Thank you so much. If you haven't, no big deal. Go ahead and watch it. It is about values. What are your values and the importance of them? And, are they outdated? Do you know what they are? What are you using to help guide you and keep you on a purposeful, path? That was the last video. And what started it was the question that I got of how to be accepted, or let me see, it was how to get people to accept you or to belong. And so I started to do the video, the last one, on that, but I wanted to actually start somewhere else. So the last video talks about values first, because I feel like before you can figure out if you're being accepted or figure out where you belong, it's important to know your values. So if you haven't checked out that video, please go and check it out. It is some good stuff. You know me, I drop some gems, as some of my friends say, which I just love. That is so appreciative. They tell me that you be talking and then you do that, however, and that's when I know the gym is coming. So I appreciate the feedback. So there are some gems in that video, definitely some things to look for, to check out. You don't have to watch the videos in order. Obviously, this video can be first, and then you go back and check out that one. However, the universe knows you know what you need and how you need it, and so it will come to you how it should, if you trust the process. So this video is basically a follow-up to the last one, and it is talking about the belonging and being accepted and how to be accepted. And the real truth is, I'm just going to jump right in today because I'm excited. The truth is that belonging is an acceptance. Love and belonging is one of Maslow's hierarchy of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? And it's basically what people need, what we as people, as a human species, need. And it's very true. Right? We want to belong somewhere. We want to know that we fit in, that we're accepted, that we're being received in a particular group or a particular setting. We want to know that our family accepts us, that our friends, that our coworkers, right? That our social groups, we want that. We need that interaction as people. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a natural thing. And so people who are like, I don't need nobody, I don't need nothing, I challenge them to dig a little bit deeper, because if we were designed to not need people, I think we would go through life just individually. We wouldn't have kids. We wouldn't, I don't need you, I don't need you. We would probably just be like, do through life. We could do everything by ourselves for some odd how reason. Every idea would be our own. All the time, right? We would have created everything for ourselves. We wouldn't need other people. So obviously, in the creation and in the making of just us being people, we need one another. That interaction is important. The love, the belonging is something that is inherited. It's natural for us. And so there's nothing wrong with it. I think people who really frown upon it, I feel like you haven't found where you belong. And so that's why it's frowned upon. So I'll go ahead and break it down. Belonging, a sense of fitting in or feeling important in a group, feeling happy or comfortable in a group setting or with others. It's a sense of acceptance, inclusion, and offers identity. And it's support from a group. We are, like I said, social creatures. Friendship, intimacy, family, and love, and our need to give and receive love is natural. That is how we were designed and created. So there's nothing wrong with it at all. Like, embrace it, right? The difference and the key part is, are you asking to belong in something, or are you seeking acceptance from a group of people that you were never designed to be a part of? And the values video that I did, why that was so important and why I started there was, in order to really know if you're being accepted and to really know where you really belong, it's going to be based off how you live and how you view things. Because wanting to belong to this group today is fine. But as you're growing and evolving and as you're learning, your desire to be accepted in a particular group may change. No shade to those people or to that group. You're just changing. And in order to keep growing and in order to keep being able to live out your best life, you have to be able to change what you're looking for, the acceptance. But if you don't have the values to fall back on, or you don't have a particular set of traits or characteristics that you're using as a guide, you will get lost. And that's why the values are so important, because the values will help you understand if you actually belong in this space or not. If this space is actually conducive to your goals and to who you're becoming, or if this space is a hindrance to you, if you've outgrown it, right? So having those key values is going to be key in figuring out or getting the acceptance. I don't feel like you should be fighting to be accepted. I don't. I feel like you should be in circles and you should be surrounding yourself with people that you actually get to be yourself around and in. If you have to change your thought process, if you have to change how you act, if you have to change what you believe in, if you have to change your values to be accepted in a group or to fit in, you're in the wrong group. That's how you get accepted. You're in the wrong group. And being able to accept that about yourself is going to be life-changing, right? It's going to be like the light bulb has gone off in your brain, to be honest. Because you're going to start to realize that, yes, I grew up with you, or yes, we have a long-standing relationship or friendship. However, the person that I see myself being, or the person that I am now, maybe doesn't belong in this circle, in this space anymore. And it's okay that that's the case. It's no shade to what we've done. It's no shade to where we've been. It just means that I'm moving in a different direction. It means that my values have now changed. As where our values were the same before, they're now different. And my desire to be able to connect holistically and wholly with other individuals, and to feel like it's okay to be myself, my imperfect self, my flawed self, is going to be heavily important depending on the group that I'm in, and being able to be that in that space. I can remember, growing up, my mom and I have this joke, and she can't stand it. But when I was a kid, I always felt like I didn't belong in any area. I did not belong. I just felt like I was the unicorn all the way around in my family, my friends groups. I was just totally different from everybody, and I did not understand it. And I wanted so hard to be accepted and to be received, right? To be valued by people. And so I often was like, where am I? Where do I belong? Where do I belong? Was my thing. And then there was this movie that came out, Beautiful. I think it's Minnie Driver is in it. And it's me and my mom's favorite movie. And there's a part in the movie where the little girl believes that her mom, who's raised her, is her mom, but she's starting to see some inconsistencies, and she's trying to figure out, where does she belong? And so, she's asking all these questions to Minnie Driver, and Minnie Driver's like, you belong where you are, really kind of avoiding it. And eventually at the end, there comes a part and Minnie Driver tells her, you belong with me. You belong right here with me. And so me and my mom say that as a joke, when I'm like, Mom, I don't feel like I fit in or whatever. She's like, oh, here we go with this belonging. See her, you belong with me. You belong in the family box, because I just felt like I didn't belong. Right? And there's nothing wrong with that. We want to be accepted. But I ended up going through my teens and through my 20s trying to be accepted by different circles and different set of people. And there was nothing wrong with that, because you're trying to find yourself, right? You're trying to figure out, where do you belong? Am I here? Do I feel good when I'm with these people? Do I feel good when I'm with these people, right? But I started to kind of change a bit depending on the circle I was in. And although I was me and I was still caring and I was still fun and I was still honest, it was hard to get a real grasp on, who I was, what I stood for, what I really valued, because I didn't know. And I wanted to be accepted so bad that I often changed. And so I know I was dating someone and they kept telling me, you're wishy-washy, you're wishy-washy. And it wasn't that I was wishy-washy. I was trying to figure out where I belonged and to be okay and accepted in this space, while at the same time allowing me to be me, which seemed like it really wasn't being accepted in this space. So maybe tone down these parts of you and take down this piece, and then they'll accept you. That seems to be accepted. So we'll just push these pieces to the side. Those pieces that I pushed to the side were important pieces. You can't push those pieces to the side. They're me, right? And so I think it's important, when you're thinking about belonging and you're thinking about acceptance, it's making sure that you are being accepted, or that you're in a group, in a space that you truly feel like is you. Not somebody that you have to be to get the acceptance, not that you have to agree, that you're actually able to be your most authentic self. In the last video I talked about, that's one of my big values, is that I want to be around people where I can be myself. And that's important. And so I don't belong in groups where I have to pretend, where I'm made to feel like I'm not enough because my values are different, or because I didn't have that upbringing, or because I'm still growing and learning. That's not a space for me, where people are downing me or talking down or looking at me because I'm not those things, or that I'm pretending to be somebody different. That's not a space that I belong in, right? And if you're trying so hard to be accepted by that group, you're becoming more and more and more distant from the person you see yourself as, and the person that you'd like to be, and the future that you'd like to have, right? It's important that you find the group that lets you be yourself, that you allow other people to be themselves, and that you guys are all being able to belong and incorporate and talk and mix together. The minute you have to change yourself, or the minute that you have to ask, am I being accepted here? Do they get it? Do they understand me? Ooh, I don't know if I should have said that. Ooh, I don't know if I should have dressed like that. You're in the wrong space, because your friends, especially your support system, should be people that accept you as you are, that understand that we are not perfect. They're not expecting you to be. That you can show up and be honest about your flaws and your imperfections, and you're still accepted. That let me help you. Let me throw out a hand. Let me give some encouraging words. Let me give you some information that I found. Those are spaces that you belong in. If you're in a space where everybody else is doing good and they all tell you, oh, we love you, we care about you, ooh, you're ooh, but everybody else seems to be making it, and then nobody is sharing the information, nobody is really taking the time, you're in the wrong space. Your idea or your desire to be accepted has to align with who you see yourself being and where you are. Right? Like, that's important. We're trying to be accepted in society, right? By posting videos and by posting pictures and by shaking and, naked and all of these things, right? So that we can be accepted. We have to have the house and the cars and this money in order to be accepted to a group of people who don't even know you, for one. For two, who, if they sat in a room with you, if you sat in a room with them, you wouldn't even want to be in the room with them. But you're seeking their acceptance. You have to get comfortable with yourself first. You've got to accept you first. You have to know that you belong with you first. You have to know those values first, so that when you are in a room, you're able to quickly determine if you actually belong in that room or if you do not. If those people's values are completely different from yours, you're able to see that, and you have the confidence to be able to say, hey, no shade, but this ain't my group. Let me keep going. We become so attached to who we are, or who we think we're supposed to be, or the group we think we're supposed to be in, or the relationship we think we're supposed to be in, that we do everything to stay there. And as much chaos and turmoil and friction and drama and stress that is caused in that, we're more afraid of what our lives would be like if we got rid of that, than to be hopeful of, if I got rid of it, what my life could really be. Your sense of belonging is natural. It is okay to want that. But make sure that you're in a space that you get to be you. And the space that you're comfortable in being you, and that you're comfortable with other people being them. We can't go into spaces trying to change people, right? And we can't go into spaces trying to change ourselves so people will accept us. We have to show up as ourselves. And even if I was in that space all that time and I'm growing and I'm evolving, and now I'm going to a new space, that's okay. You can't be afraid to let go of those situations either. Sometimes people have to separate and figure themselves out and go through that to realize, hey, we actually have gone through it. We belong together. We back, girl. Or a relationship comes back, right? Because you've been able to realize, I didn't belong in that moment, and I've had to grow and change and come into what I really want. And now I'm attracting the people and the opportunities that I actually belong in. I'm actually in a space that I'm being accepted without having to wonder, am I being accepted? It's very clear. Very clear. Don't go into any situation hoping to be accepted. Go into every situation as yourself, your best self. And if those people do not value you, if those people are talking down on you, if being around them makes you feel bad, if being around them makes you doubt or second guess yourself and who you are as a person and where you're going in life, you're in the wrong circle. Get out fast. Get out. Get out. Remember that movie? That's what that made me think of. Get out. You're in the wrong neighborhood on the wrong day. Get out before you get too far deep in and sucked up in something that you don't even know what's going on anymore. You have missed out on all the best years of your life. You are not living your life the way that you want to because you are fighting so hard to be accepted by people who never wanted to accept you in the first place. You're trying to be accepted by a society that every time you reach the level that they tell you to be, they up the ante and they up the ante. And you continuously chasing and chasing and chasing and trying to be accepted into that group is causing more friction and turmoil that you're missing out on your own life. You're missing out on the pieces that make you great. You're missing out on the people and the opportunities that are really designed and set for you because you're chasing this group. Learn to clap for yourself. Learn to validate yourself. Even in the workplace, I deal with people in the workplace who have to be right all the time. They have to be right all the time. Like everything has to be right for them. They need to be the person who knows it all. For me, it's not that deep, but go off. That's your thing. Cool. It's not that deep for me. But they're looking for the applause. They're looking for the validation that, oh, you're doing a good job. Oh, yeah, you belong. And the thing about it is, okay, that's great. We all want the praise. But are you doing too much? Are you going above and beyond and in a different space that you don't belong in and trying to get it? You have to ask yourself that. Am I showing up like my real self? And I'm okay if nobody claps. I still know I did a good job. It's okay if nobody likes any of my videos at all. If I never get a like on a video, I know that I spoke from my heart. I know I spoke what I was supposed to. It's okay. I know that I reached one person, and that's totally fine with me. I don't need millions of people, but that's me. And if, the applause and the status and the fame is important to you, then of course you're going to do things to receive that, and that's totally fine. But what happens when they stop applauding? What happens when they stop giving you that praise? You start to feel like you don't belong. You start to feel like you're not valued. You're giving too much of your energy. You're giving too much control to other people to control your energy, your outcomes, your frequency, and everything else. Find people who actually appreciate you, who you feel comfortable and good around, that when you're around them, it's a good time. You feel good. That when you end the conversation or you get off the phone with them, it feels good. That after you go to dinner or brunch with them, it felt good. You learned something. You had something like, those are the people, that's the space you belong in. If after every time you talk to somebody, your head hurts, after every time you deal with somebody, you second guessing yourself, and now you don't think you are worthy, and now you got to figure out if you should go and do this or that to make it, and if you feel like you got to figure out which card to use and put all the cards, split it 3 ways just to be able to shop in the same store with the people that you're hanging out with, and even though you know that if you split it on 3 cards, you still have to pay the light bill at home, but you need to be able to do it because you want to belong, you're in the wrong circle. You're causing extra stuff and chaos in your life on yourself that you don't need because you're trying to fit in and you're trying to belong somewhere. So it's important to find those values and then to make sure that you're putting yourself in a room, and don't get so attached that, okay, I belong in this group. Great. Awesome. I'm here. I finally made it. Great. Be in the present, accept it, enjoy it, appreciate it, learn from it, grow in it, share in it, right? Do your part in that. But don't be so attached that when it's time for you to grow again and you may need to change again, that you're afraid to. Everybody's not going to be and belong in the same circles. And even if you thought you belonged, you may come to a place where you realize, actually, I don't. This really isn't my circle. Actually, no shade, but for me, I'm on something different. I have to move differently and be okay with that. It's okay that you were up here and you realize I've been doing too much. I want to come down here so that I can actually make it. Then do that. Your sense of belonging, your sense of self-worth should not be based on other people. If you have to fight, if you have to change, if you have to downplay, if you have to cut pieces of you out and slide them to the side every time, if you don't get to really be yourself in a particular group, you do not belong there. Find the circle that you actually belong in, that actually makes you feel good, that motivates you, that encourages you, that supports you, that makes you want to be better, that you are becoming better by being in that group. That challenges you, that provokes thought, that makes you go, oh my goodness, I didn't think about that. Let me look into it. That makes you want to be better. That's the group you belong in. That's always going to be a good group. So if you're feeling the push right now and you're trying to figure out, what's going on, it's a push for you to go ahead and release so that you can get to the next space in life. You may not belong in these circles anymore. You may not belong in that relationship anymore. And that's okay. Don't become so attached to that you're afraid to get to the next level, because it's 9 times out of 10 going to be way better. All of of the spaces and all of these people and all of this serves a purpose. You maybe belonged. You were maybe accepted at one point. And be careful of the times when you're accepted in a particular group because you're the one on the lowest totem pole. And so in order for them to feel like they're doing something, they're basing it off the fact that you're down here. Be careful of that. And they make you feel like you're a part. As you start to grow and as you start to get in tune with yourself and who you want to be, you'll start to be able to see those situations more clearly and understand very quickly, baby, you do not belong there. You do not. You have maybe picked up some great tips, some great tools. You've learned some great places. You've picked up on some things, but that does not mean that you are entitled to stay there and continue to be the lowest one on the totem pole that makes them feel good about themselves. You deserve to be in a group where you get to feel good too. Know that. Okay, so that's my say on how to get accepted or the belonging piece, because it's so important. We're all trying to belong. We're all trying to figure out where we belong, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the more in tune you are with yourself, the easier it will be for you to attract the right people, the right opportunities, for you to end up whoop, whoop, right in the right spot with the right people and go, oh my goodness. How some people who have been in your life for a while that maybe you've taken a step back from, that somehow you guys have now come back together, and it's like, wow, for such a time as this. Take your journey into you and into your future very serious. Very serious. But have fun, because y'all know I'm about fun. Don't take it too serious now. But don't be afraid to challenge it. Don't be afraid to undo what you've been conditioned, what you've thought you believed. Don't be afraid to do that. Undo it. Unlearn it. Recondition yourself. Learn new stuff and create that life, to create that mentality, create that space that brings you peace and happiness. Because let me tell you, other people is out here doing that. And if you're trying to get acceptance from all these other people while they're out here doing their thing, you're going to find yourself very unhappy and look up and realize you've wasted too much time. And that is something we cannot get back by hoping people will accept us and take us in. You are perfect the way that you are. Flawed and imperfect is what makes life great. It's the ability to be able to find out just how awesome you really are. Don't hide those pieces either. You should be able to show up flawed and imperfect. You should be able to be that side of you as well. And it should be received, because nobody's perfect. We're all out here trying to figure it out. We're all out here trying to become our best selves. Some of us on this video and in this group. Yes, we are. And that's okay. Do what you have to do for you. And keep going and keep going, and know the right people and the right stuff is going to find you. Okay, so that's what I have. My quote. Oh my goodness, I found this quote, and I actually really like Brené Brown, and I've been reading some of her books. Daring Greatly was probably one of the first books it was the first book I read by her, and it changed my life completely. Love it. And then I started getting really into her. And then I found out that she's from Houston, Texas, lives in Houston, Texas. And I was like, shut up, that is so cool. But anywho, today's quote is from her. And belonging doesn't require us to change who we are. It requires us to be who we are. Think about that. We shouldn't have to change. Belonging should allow us to be who we are. That's when you know you belong. That's when you know you're accepted. That's when you know you found your people. You found your circle. You found your mate. That's when you know. So, thank you so much. If you have watched the whole video, I appreciate you for sure. Like, subscribe, share. Please leave comments. Let me know your feedback. I receive all of that. Again, there is links to my website and to my Instagram down below. You know, please support. I'm here to help you be your best self while I'm on the journey to become my best self. I don't have it all together either. We's in this journey together, and I'm just doing my part. So thank you guys so much. Have a great and awesome day, and I will catch you on the next video.